Hey guys, as my fans know, I just did the Extra Life charity marathon this weekend and I've been up for almost 30 hours now. Even all the timmies I've been having isn't really doing the trick anymore, so unless I see something really ignorant, I'm heading to bed. What? Here we go.
Excuse me, Mr. Atheist, do you actually have any proof that evolution is true?
Oh please, Mr. Atheist is my father. Kidding aside, you don't need to accept evolution to question the existence of a divine being, and accepting evolution does not mean that you have to say there isn't a God of any kind at all. Anyway, there are lots of examples of organisms evolving. The Lenski experiments show the change in a strain of E. coli mutating over generations to metabolize citrate in order to thrive. There's the nylon-eating bacteria gaining nutrients from a man-made substance that did not exist a few decades ago. Or even the fact that the flu can mutate, meaning we need to get new vaccinations for the new strains every year. Oh, but you had a straw man you wanted to bring out?
Yeah, of course I have proof. Did you know that humans and apes share 98% of the same DNA?
Not exactly. As apes ourselves, we share 100% of the DNA of the ape species known as Homo sapiens, which is us. Now, our nearest relatives, chimpanzees and bonobos, roughly share 96 to 98% of our DNA respectively.
Did you know that humans and mice share 99% of the same DNA?
No, we don't. This is a misunderstanding due to the complex nature of genetics. About 99% of the genes in humans have a homogeneous counterpart in mice. But this is not the same as saying that our DNA is 99% the same. It is simply saying that there are genes that have a similar function in mice as in humans. But the genes are different in how they perform that function. On a metabolic level, we are very similar to most other mammals, like mice. But when directly comparing the genes between humans and mice, those homogeneous genes share about 80% similarities.
But 99% is more than 98%. So how is it possible we share 99% of DNA with mice and only 98% with apes? Yep, that's right. We share 99% of our DNA with mice. So that means we must have been monkeys, evolved into mice, and then from mice we evolved into human beings.
Again, you are misunderstanding the science. As I explained, we do not share 99% of our DNA with mice. 99% of human genes have a counterpart with mice genes. Humans and other modern species of ape share a common ancestor. Since we're still apes, that means our common ancestor was also an ape. Humans and modern mice also share an ancestor, but since we're primates and they are rodentia, our common ancestor would go further back, with best estimates of the divergence between humans and mice lineage to be between 65 and 75 million years ago. Comparatively, the divergence of humans and the chimp and bonobo lineages was roughly 5 to 7 million years ago. Also, to be pedantic, monkeys and apes are not the same thing. So, hopefully that clears up your misunderstanding.
Do you have any more proof that evolution is true? Okay, well, what about the fossil record, man? The fossil record is not proof because the layers of rock are not distinct at all. And if this is proof of evolution, then where are all the transitional fossils?
No, the rock layers are, in fact, very distinct. We can use dating techniques to work out the age of various rock layers, and guess what? Barring natural events which can shift the ground, like earthquakes, the older layers are found under the younger ones. If a fossil is found, we can determine the age it was buried by dating the rock layers. Now, we can't date the layer the fossil was found in. It's not possible, yet, to date sedimentary rock. But we can use radiometric dating to work out the age of the rock layers above and below where a fossil was found to estimate when it was buried. As for where are the transitional fossils, well, most of them are probably still buried, but we have excavated enough to fill in many gaps in the fossil record. We can take the fossils that we have found, ordering them by date from the distinct layers they were found in, and trace out the slow progression that evolution took, showing how species changed. Even if we haven't found everything, we do have enough to give us a fairly detailed understanding of the progression of life on this planet. Here's just a partial list, and when grouped by age using the methods I just mentioned, we can see the gradual transformation from one species to another.
To be a different man, time may change me, but I can't trace time.
Aw, man, I really wish we could just prove evolution to be a fact instead of a theory.
You do understand that there's a difference between a fact and a theory, and theories don't become facts. A fact is something that has been observed, whereas a theory is an explanation for that observation. We can observe the diversity of life and trace out how complex creatures can come from simpler ones, and evolution through natural selection is the best explanation of that diversity. In scientific terms, the Darwinian idea of evolution through natural selection is the accepted theory because it corresponds to the evidence that has been presented. Oh, and unless my math was off, you said a lot more than the promised one sentence. Anyway, it's been a very long weekend, and I'm heading to bed. I really need something to knock me out instead. And that is why I should never do these things when I'm exhausted.